Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it's been a long time coming, but we are back with another talk through tutorial. Full disclosure, I did have every intention of talking through the camera in person, but about halfway through my editing, I realized that the audio was not working. So in a clip like this, you're gonna see me talking, but the next one, we will be doing the talk through in person. So this is my go-to summer glam, starting with priming my eyes with the Giorgio Armani concealer and then setting it with a little bit of powder. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit of Scotch tape, which I know is really old school, but this is what I like to do in order to get the most precise application. Now make sure you take the Scotch tape on the back of your hand a couple times before you go in and just put it on the most sensitive part of your skin. I like to make sure it's even, all the way from the outer corner to the temples. We're going in with the Jaclyn X Morphe Divine Neutrals palette for the look today. You can use really any colors that you want. I just prefer the neutral browns. Starting off with shade Just Barely to kind of sculpt out the shape that I'm looking for. I'm really concentrating that in that outer corner and feathering that out through the temples, not bringing it into the eyelid too much because we want to save that lid space up to the brow to keep that nice and wide and open. We're looking to elongate the eye. We're not looking to make it bigger, so to speak. We're taking that and stretching the eye outwards, kind of giving it the fox eye effect. So I'm using a big fluffy brush. This is the Makeup by Ariel Morphe A11. So I absolutely love the brushes that he has for the eyes. I think they all work really, really well together. So I'm just taking my time, fanning this out, making sure it's really nice and blended and seamless before jumping into the next shades. Next, I'm going in with shade Good Vibes. I want to say this is a Morphe R38 brush. They don't make this anymore. I bought this probably back in 2017 when it was still just Morphe brushes, and the number on this brush is completely wiped away again. But I'm going to be taking, this is a smaller blending brush, a little bit denser than the one before, so a little bit more precision, but still has a nice blend to it. So I'm taking that in the same places that I took that last color, kind of just marrying the two together, following the shape of the tape from that outer corner, really tucking it close to the lash line and elongating outwards towards the temple. You're going to notice in this clip that I'm starting to talk. So basically what I'm saying is the shape that I want to keep is a small triangle. So from the outer edge of my eye on the lash line to the tail of my brow, and then from the tape out, it's a small triangle, and that's where you want to concentrate most of the product. Because again, we're trying to elongate the eye from the outer corner to the temples and kind of give you that doe eye effect that you see here versus kind of keeping all of that color in the outer V inwards. Now I'm taking a smaller, more tapered blending brush and going in with shade Boo Bear. And for this shade, I'm starting with patting motions first to kind of dispense the color before going in and just blending right in. Remember how we said before, the darker the shade, the more precise you want to be first, and then you want to start blending it out, taking it in that same shade and not really pushing it too far, but just enough, kind of working it in the place that we put it to begin with. I always want to make sure I have a couple mirrors in front of me so I can see what my makeup looks from every angle. So I have the one that I'm holding or I see up close. I have the mirror that's that big silver one in front of me to see from a certain distance. And then I have the camera that I'm looking in as well to kind of really see everything from every perspective. Because, you know, something might look good really close up, but then from far away, you think you might want to add something, vice versa. Far away, it looks good. Close up, it might need some blending. So it's always nice to have multiple colors. So in this clip, I'm talking about going back in with shade Boo Bear to kind of just build it up a little bit, because sometimes when you blend, you kind of, you know, it fades the color out a little bit more. So I kind of just want to focus on concentrating and deepening up that color in the same area. So now I'm going back in with that original blending brush and a little bit of that first shade, Just Barely, and just barely, fanning over everything that we've already done, just kind of making sure everything is really seamless and smooth and there's just no harsh lines. You know, just one of those added steps that you don't have to do, but it's a little thing that will bring everything together in the end. I'm now going to go in with a small pencil brush. I believe this is the M501 from Morphe, and I'm going in with shade Cinnamon Roll. It's the darkest shade in the palette, and I'm really focusing that on that outer lash and barely flicking that out. And once I feel I'm at a good point, I'm going to move on to complexion, going in now with the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. About 30 minutes before I started filming this video, I fully cleansed my skin, moisturized, put my serums on, so it's had time to settle in. My skin is clean. I absolutely love this primer. It's really upped up my foundation game, but I don't recommend using this if you had just washed your face and just applied your skincare products. You're going to need some time in between everything to allow everything to settle in. And after you apply that primer, wait at least a minute or two before applying foundation over top. This is going to be the Haus Labs foundation. I believe I'm in the shade 110, and I'm going in with a BK Beauty BK Beauty 101 brush, excuse me. And with really light to medium pressure, I'm blending this into the skin. I want the most amount of coverage. So I start with a brush first and I tap everything in. I put some excess of the product on my ears to kind of help color correct. My ears are a little bit redder than the rest of my body. And then I'm pulling back my hair to make sure I blend this into the hairline. I really love this foundation. It's been my #1 for almost a year now. I have super sensitive skin, so for me, it's very hard to switch around complexion products without my skin freaking out, without little pieces of texture or any bumps or anything along those lines. So once the coverage is built up and I have everything where I want it to be, I go in with my beauty sponge and kind of go over top of everything just to make sure it's all really blended in and pressed into the skin and really seamless. This foundation is beautiful. I'm obsessed with it. It's been my ride or die for a while now. A little bit of Morphe Continuous Setting Mist in between our cream products to make sure everything's going to come together. This is my LYS bronzing stick. I like to take it on the brush and then warm it up on the back of my hand and then go in and place it on my skin. I find that if you warm it up on the back of your hand first, it allows everything on the face to blend a lot better versus just drawing the stripes on your face with the stick itself and having to work twice as hard to blend everything in. I use the shade No Limits Courage. This is my perfect summer shade. For me, this is about as tan as I'm gonna get. Maybe I'll get a little bit tanner, but this shade itself lasts me from spring until I start getting fair again in the early fall. So this brings everything together. So I really highlight the tops of my cheekbones, on my forehead, into my hairline, and then I hit the jaw and go all the way down. The jaw I'll hit from my chin all the way behind my ear and then down as well. When I go to bronze my nose, this is a trust the process kind of moment. So I'll just go in and with my brush and dab it all over my nose and then take the excess on my hand with a smaller brush and kind of brush it through the front of the brows to kind of give it that sculpted look. I know it looks crazy at the moment, but once we do concealer and the rest of the complexion products, it's all going to come together. I'm then going to go back in with that beauty sponge and then make sure there's just no harsh lines and everything is melted into the skin. For concealers, I go in with 2. I have the Hourglass concealer in the shade shade Silk. And then the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Concealer in shade 3.75. I absolutely love the coverage on the Hourglass concealer, so I highlight that in my under eye area, a little bit on the bridge of my nose, the forehead, and the chin area. And then I like the Armani Beauty Concealer because it's a little bit lighter, so I use that to kind of brighten everything and use it on the other places of my face I want to sculpt. Because this one's a more medium coverage concealer, I can kind of layer it on. I don't have to worry about it caking up too much. So I kind of just add it in all the same places. Going back in with the beauty sponge to blend everything together, I start from the bottom of my face and work my way up, leaving the under eyes until the last part because I want that to dry down a little bit more to conserve the coverage. And I just blend, my friends. Working with makeup is really a patient process, so take your time when blending, make sure everything has no harsh lines and If you're doing something with a brush, then go over it with a sponge to really help melt everything together. For my under eye concealer, I go in with a brush first. So this is going to be the BK Beauty A506 brush. I love this. It's kind of like that paw looking brush that has the bristles that are tapered in an upward motion. So I take that because I can get really close to the inner corner and get right around my nose area, and also as close to that eyeshadow to sculpt that out to the temples, and then in with my beauty sponge. I'm going to now go in with a little bit more of that contour shade and kind of melt the two together between the concealer and the contour. For blush, this is going to be the Rare Beauty blush in the shade Hope. I love this. This is like a really nice, deeper pink shade. And I'll take that and blend that up in that same area, blend it through the contour, and then with the excess left on my sponge, I'll take it in my under eye as well. Now I'm going in with some powder. This is the Huda Beauty Power with Cupcake and Cherry Blossom mixed. I'm going in, making sure there's no creases under my eyes with the sponge, and directly in with that powder. You saw at first that I kind of smoothed it on my hand. That's to make sure the powder is evenly applied onto my little powder puff before then applying it on my under eyes. This is going to ensure you get an even distribution of your powder when you apply it versus going in straight into the container on your puff and under your eye. I start with a light amount on the under eye first and follow those concealer. I set everywhere I have concealer first. You notice the weird face I make. This is because I have smile lines, so I have to kind of push them out first and then I go over and set them. But again, I'm setting all the areas I have concealer first before I go in and bake. This is my go-to powder. It's between this one as well as the Givenchy Prism Libre. I know that's a fan favorite. This one's a little bit more inexpensive in comparison to that. So if you want something more budget friendly, it's still going to be on that higher end for powders, but not as much as the Givenchy. Then I'm going to go in and bake on the under eye with the same powder and kind of fan it out and down. So I like to sculpt the side of my nose. I like to sculpt right underneath where that shadow is and out, and then I'll fan out the edges. And then I bake a little bit on the smile lines as well, because that's where I tend to crease the most. So this is an awesome trick that I learned from Painted by Spencer on TikTok. Any of your powder products that you're applying, bronzer, blush, anything that you kind of need a denser brush, swirl it in the pan and then take your brush and swirl it on the actual lid of that component. That's going to help evenly distribute the powder onto the brush that you're using, allowing for a more seamless application on the face. This has really upped my blending game. This has really improved the overall look of my foundation and really helped everything blend together. Shout out to Painted by Spencer. He's the one that created that technique. And it's something that doesn't require you to buy any additional products or any new tools. That just allows you to use what you already have, which is awesome. So I'm just taking that Makeup by Mario Skin Enhancer all over the same areas that I had that contour to set. It's been my go-to, and I'm also going to take that on my nose as well, blending that through the brow, on the tip of my nose, and on the edge of my nostrils. That's typically how I've been contouring my nose. I haven't really switched it up at all. So for brows, I'm going in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in the shade Medium Brown. Guys, brows for me is a little bit underwhelming. I've been doing the same technique for a while. The only difference is I've kind of shaped my brows a little differently over the last year. But I'm someone that's really trying to get into that soap trend, soap brows, but it just doesn't look good on me. So I'm just sticking to what I know. So just going in, carving out. I start at the bottom of my brow and work my way to the tail. And then I create a little shape on that outer edge on the top. And I just brush everything through. I used to be a part of that eyebrow blind trend that everyone's showing on TikTok. I have to sift through my pictures to find mine, but I was definitely a pomade girl back in 2016, and none of my friends let me know how bad they looked. So this is our recovery. So they look really good, but I'm a little bit bored is more so what I should say with how my brows have been. So now I'm going to go in and just bake underneath all that contour and help set that other part of the face and just shape out the way I would like it to look. And right now, this is how the complexion's looking. Dancing because I'm super happy with the way it is. I'm going to go in and work on that under eye area. Now for this, I'm not going to do anything too crazy. I'm going to go in with the same shades that I used on the top part of my lid and put those on the bottom as well. I'm not going to take this in too far either. I want to keep this concentrated in that outer area, again, to add to the overall elongation of the eye. You're going to see how everything comes together once the shadows on the base are blended to those outer ones. I'm going in with a pencil brush here, kind of taking those darker shades and concentrating that and connecting it to that top lash line as well. Just making sure everything looks really good. Again, leaving that inner area of the eye open. And then going in with a flat defining brush in that cinnamon roll shade. I apologize for me having this in front of where I'm blending it. I got to get a better angle of me not covering up what I'm doing. Now we're going to go ahead and tap away that bake out of the under eye as well as underneath the contour. For my under eye, I definitely do more of like a patting motion to take it off. I don't want to swipe too much there. Around underneath my jaw area though, I'm okay with a little bit of swiping. So yeah, just pressing that in on those areas where I tend to crease more. Now I'm going in with MAC Cosmetics blush in the shade Desert Rose and just placing that over top of the contour. Making sure everything's blended together between the powder in the under eyes, the Desert Rose blush, and the contour underneath. With a little bit of that excess product that's left on the brush, I will tap that into the under eye as well. Now that all of my powder products are pretty much done, I'm going to go in with that Morphe Continuous Setting Spray and start to prep my lashes up. I'm using Kiss lashes in the style Ruffle. You guys, these are my go-to lashes. I continuously buy these on a monthly basis. One pair will typically last me about 7 or 8 uses. There's 4 pairs in a pack, so they'll last you at least a month. And that's someone that's using them about 4 or 5 days a week. I'm now going in with the Rare Beauty Liquid Luminizer in shade Mesmerize. I really love the way this looks on the cheeks. However, I went to go apply this on my nose, and you'll see here in a second, it did eat away at my foundation on my nose. So you'll see here in just a second, I kind of had to look really close. So I noticed it was kind of eating at the foundation. So I just went in with my sponge to kind of tap over top and fix that mistake. I'm not sure what happened there because it didn't eat up my foundation on my cheekbones. Now going in and applying those lashes, kind of elongating the outer corner and flipping it up just a little bit. And then applying with some tweezers to make sure everything is right on that lash line. Lashes is what really brings the look together here. While the other glue is drying on the lash, I'm going to go ahead and apply my lip product. So this is the MAC Prep and Prime Lip. It's a product that you don't see anywhere else. It's meant to prime the lips and help any sort of pencil or matte lip shade go on really seamless and smooth. And let's just say you bought a liquid lip that's too drying. You can apply the liquid lip and then apply that product over top and it'll help smooth it out and hydrate it a little bit. This is MAC Lip Pencil in the shade Whirl. This is my #1 lip liner of all time. I don't see myself changing that up anytime soon. This lipstick I'm applying, however, is discontinued. This is MAC Flesh Pot. I can't believe they ever got rid of this shade. There's no shade like it on the market. Shout out to my friend Kira that gave me 2 extras that she had laying around, so I now have 3, which is a blessing because you'll never find it. Tightlining my eyes, I'm going in with the Kylie Cosmetics Gel Eyeliner Pencil in the black. And to marry everything together, I'm using the Maybelline Lash Stiletto Mascara in the shade Very Black. I'm someone that applies my mascara after my lashes, not before. And yeah, so that's pretty much the completed look. To finish everything off, I am going to go in with the Skindinavia, the makeup finishing spray. This is an oldie but a goodie. This was used way back when, before, makeup was super popular. It just makes everything look amazing and last all day. And this is the finished look. I'm so happy with how this turned out. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in my next one.